Caffeine. Caffeine is a stimulant, a substance that speeds up your brain and nervous system. It's found in coffee, tea, soda, and energy drinks, fueling millions of people every single morning. For many, it's not just something they consume, it's a ritual. The day doesn't truly begin until that first sip. Once you drink it, caffeine enters your bloodstream and quickly travels to your brain. There, it blocks a chemical called adenosine, the signal that tells your brain it's tired. So, caffeine doesn't give you energy, it simply hides your exhaustion. Your neurons begin firing faster, your heart rate increases, you feel sharper, more awake. Within 20 to 30 minutes, the peak hits. Your focus improves, your motivation rises. The world feels clearer, more controllable. It's not euphoria, it's confidence in a cup, but it doesn't last. As your body breaks caffeine down, adenosine returns. And when it does, the crash follows. That sharp focus fades. You feel irritable, restless, unfocused. And then comes the thought, maybe one more cup will fix it. Caffeine is mildly addictive, but it hides behind routine. Over time, your brain adapts. It produces less natural alertness. So you need more caffeine, just to feel normal. Quit suddenly, and you'll notice it. Headaches, fatigue, brain fog. We joke about needing coffee to function, but that's not energy. That's withdrawal, disguised as habit. The truth is simple. Caffeine doesn't wake you up. It just delays your tiredness until later. Nicotine. Nicotine is a fast-acting stimulant, a chemical found in tobacco and vapes. It's not the smoke that hooks people. It's the nicotine itself. It's inhaled through smoke or vapor, and within seconds, it reaches your brain. There, it triggers a surge of dopamine, the chemical linked to calm, focus, and satisfaction. At first, it feels almost perfect. Your heart rate rises slightly. Your thoughts become clearer. Stress seems to fade away. This is the onset, a brief, controlled high. For a few moments, your brain feels smoother, more balanced, but it doesn't last. Nicotine fades quickly, and as dopamine drops, the calm disappears. What replaces it is tension, restlessness, a growing urge for another hit. This is the come down, and it's what traps people in the cycle. Each puff doesn't create relief. It only removes the discomfort caused by the previous one. That's the trap. Nicotine doesn't truly relax you. It just resets withdrawal. Over time, your brain adapts. It starts relying on nicotine to regulate dopamine. Without it, everything feels dull, flat, unrewarding. Physically, nicotine damages your lungs, your blood vessels, and your heart. But mentally, the effect runs deeper. It convinces you that you can't function without it. Alcohol. Alcohol brings warmth, relaxation, a quiet sense of confidence. You feel more open, more social. Your thoughts slow down. Your body begins to loosen. The moment feels easier, lighter. For a while, alcohol feels like the key to connection. Then the peak arrives. Judgment fades, emotions intensify. You speak louder, laugh harder, and sometimes you cross lines you normally wouldn't. Your body starts to lose balance. Coordination weakens. Movements become less precise. But your brain still believes everything is under control. That's the illusion. Alcohol slows your brain while making you think you're functioning normally. Eventually, the come down begins. The fun shifts into fatigue. That warm feeling turns heavy. The buzz becomes dull, unclear. Hours later, your body feels drained. You're dehydrated, nauseous, mentally foggy. Then comes the next morning. Your brain chemistry drops sharply. This is the hangover. Alcohol is addictive in subtle ways. The more often you drink, the more your brain expects it to relax. At some point, it's no longer about enjoyment. You're drinking just to feel normal. Over time, alcohol damages your liver, weakens your heart, and erodes your self-control. It creates the feeling of being alive, while slowly numbing everything that makes you human. Cannabis, Cannabis is a psychoactive substance derived from the marijuana plant. It's commonly smoked, vaped, or consumed as an edible. Its primary active compound is THC. THC interacts with your brain's endocannabinoid system, a network that regulates mood, memory, and perception. Once it enters your bloodstream, it rapidly travels to your brain. There, it binds to receptors normally used by natural chemicals called anandamide, molecules that help you feel calm, balanced. This is when the onset begins. Time seems to slow down, your senses sharpen. Everything feels softer, warmer, slightly more amusing. As the effect builds, you reach the peak. Cannabis can enhance creativity, promote relaxation, or, depending on the dose and mindset, lead to confusion and paranoia. Music feels deeper. Colors appear more intense. Thoughts seem meaningful, even profound. It's a shift in perception, a version of reality that feels both dreamy and focused at the same time. Then the come down begins. Thinking slows. Speech becomes less structured, more distant. Fatigue starts to settle in. For some, it fades gently. For others, it feels heavier, like a lingering mental fog that can last into the next day. Cannabis is considered mildly addictive, but mostly on a psychological level. With regular use, motivation can decrease. Short-term memory may weaken. And at higher doses, anxiety or panic can emerge. It's often described as harmless, but over time, it quietly reshapes how your brain associates relaxation and reward. Cocaine. Cocaine is a powerful stimulant. Derived from coca leaves, it's most commonly used as a white powder, snorted, but sometimes smoked or injected. Once it enters the bloodstream, it rapidly reaches the brain. There, it floods your system with dopamine, blocking your brain from reabsorbing it. Pleasure signals begin to build up. The onset is immediate, a sudden surge of euphoria, energy, confidence. Your heart races, your pupils expand, your mind feels sharp, charged. Thoughts seem faster, more important. You feel in control, untouchable. At the peak, everything intensifies. You're alert, focused, alive. But this state doesn't last. Your brain is already burning through its supply. The high is intense, but brief. Within minutes, dopamine levels drop, and the come down hits hard. Anxiety increases, mood collapses, fatigue takes over. You want more, just to feel stable again. Cocaine is highly addictive. Your brain quickly connects it with pleasure, drive, and control. But that connection is false. Each use reinforces the need for the next. Over time, it damages the heart, tightens blood vessels, and alters brain chemistry so deeply that feeling normal without it starts to fade. MDMA. MDMA is a synthetic drug, also known as ecstasy or Molly. It acts as both a stimulant and a hallucinogen. It's usually taken as a pill or capsule, often in parties or club settings. Once inside your body, it floods the brain with chemicals: serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, the ones linked to happiness, reward, and emotional connection. As the onset begins, a warmth spreads through your body. Sounds feel deeper. Lights become softer. Touch feels intense. You feel close to people, not just friends, but everyone around you. Your brain shifts into high empathy. At the peak, everything intensifies. Serotonin levels surge. The world feels perfect. You move nonstop, talk endlessly. You feel limitless. But this state burns out quickly. MDMA uses up serotonin at a rapid rate. Within hours, the come down begins. The emotional high disappears. In its place, emptiness, fatigue, sometimes sadness. The shift is sudden, used repeatedly. MDMA starts damaging the neurons that release serotonin. Over time, natural happiness becomes harder to reach. Physically, it strains your body. It can raise your temperature, cause dehydration, and in rare cases lead to organ failure. It's often called a love drug because it makes you feel connected to everyone. But when it wears off, you realize that connection wasn't real. It was chemical, and your brain is left dealing with the cost. Psilocybin. Psilocybin is a hallucinogen found in certain types of mushrooms, often called magic mushrooms. It's eaten raw or brewed as tea, sometimes taken in capsules. Once inside the body, it converts into psilocin. This compound interacts with serotonin receptors in the brain. The effects begin within about 30 minutes. Your senses become sharper. Patterns start to shift. Reality feels unstable, almost fluid. Laughter comes easily. Music feels deeper. You become aware of everything: your body, your breath, the space around you. At the peak, perception changes completely. Colors move. Time stretches. You may feel connected to nature, to memories, to emotions. Some experience clarity. Others feel overwhelmed. Your sense of self begins to fade. It can feel beautiful or chaotic, depending on your mindset. As the effects wear off, your thoughts begin to settle. Reality slowly returns. You may feel calm, grateful, open. But for some, confusion or anxiety can remain. Psilocybin is not physically addictive, but it is powerful. It can help break mental patterns, or, in the wrong setting, trigger panic or deeper distress. It doesn't show you something new. It reveals what is already inside your mind. Pornography. Pornography addiction is a behavioral dependency. It doesn't involve a substance, but it affects the brain in similar ways. It's driven by dopamine, the chemical linked to reward and motivation. Each exposure creates a spike, a short burst of pleasure. At first, it feels harmless, a quick escape, a way to relax, but over time, the brain adapts. The same content no longer feels enough. You begin to seek more intensity, more novelty. This is the onset of the cycle. Your focus narrows, your motivation shifts. Real life activities feel less rewarding. At its peak, it becomes automatic. You're not choosing it, you're reacting to it. The brain starts associating relief with repeated behavior, but the effect fades quickly. Afterward, there's emptiness, guilt, mental fatigue. This is the come down, and it reinforces the habit. Over time, it can affect attention, relationships, and emotional balance. It doesn't just change what you watch, it changes how your brain responds to reality. The danger isn't the content itself, it's the pattern it creates. Gaming. Gaming addiction is a behavioral pattern. It doesn't involve a substance, but it affects the brain in similar ways. It's driven by dopamine, the system linked to reward and progress. Every win creates a spike, a brief sense of achievement. At first, it feels harmless, just entertainment, a way to relax, but over time, the brain adapts. The same game feels less rewarding. You play longer, chase harder goals. This is where the cycle begins. Your focus narrows, time becomes less clear, real life tasks feel less engaging. At its peak, it becomes automatic. You're not playing for fun, you're playing to feel something. The brain starts expecting stimulation from constant input, but the effect fades quickly. Afterward, there's fatigue, irritability, mental drain. This is the come down, and it pulls you back in. Over time, it can affect sleep, attention, and motivation. It doesn't just change how you play, it changes how your brain responds to effort and reward. LSD is a powerful hallucinogen, a substance that alters how your brain interprets reality. It's usually taken on small paper tabs placed on the tongue. The dose is tiny, measured in micrograms. Once absorbed, LSD interacts with serotonin receptors, especially the ones linked to perception and mood. The onset builds gradually. Patterns begin to move. Colors shift. Sounds feel different. It's not that new things appear, it's that everything already there changes. Reality starts to feel fluid. At the peak, which can last for hours, time loses structure. Your sense of self begins to fade. The boundary between you and the world becomes less clear. You may feel connected, euphoric, or overwhelmed. Thoughts and sensations blend together. Everything feels like one continuous experience. Then the come down begins, slow, controlled. Reality returns step by step. You may feel calm, reflective, or mentally drained. LSD isn't physically addictive, but it is unpredictable. The same experience can feel profound or deeply unsettling. It doesn't just change what you see, it changes how your mind understands everything